Hey guys, hope you're doing well. We just finished flipping our first ever insurance auction vehicle, the 2016 Lincoln MKZ I picked up not too long ago. Now, I got that car to be a parts car for my Fusion, being that they're the same platform. A lot of the parts swap over really easily, and from there, I basically just kept parting it out. Now, being my first ever insurance auction vehicle, there was a bit of a learning curve, but I picked up a lot, so here are the top 5 tips if you're looking to do the same thing. Now this goes without saying, but I am not a professional at this, nor do I do this as a business. This is just something that I had interest in and I wanted to take a shot at, and it actually ended up working out pretty well, so here are the 5 tips. So the first thing is that basically anybody can buy from an insurance auction. While, if you're like on Copart or IAA, it seems like there's a wall of formalities, stopping you from actually bidding, which there kind of is, but a lot of these sites actually have partner sites, where those partner sites, basically if you sign up for a membership, they basically function as brokers, basically the middleman that they'll take care of all the formalities, all the paperwork and everything. All you gotta do is pay a fee and then just sign over everything whenever you win the vehicle. It's actually a pretty easy process. For me, I was able to get bidding that exact same day, and thankfully nobody else bid on the car that I was going for, which made it a really good deal. The second thing is that options do matter pretty good bit whenever it comes to these vehicles, because if you go for like the luxury version of the vehicle or the top of the line version, there's already going to be a little bit more intrigue in that vehicle, and if you're getting parts from that vehicle for your own car, it's definitely going to be a nice step up just as is. But even more than that, the color options are a big one. If you can get a color that is relatively common or relatively popular, that's actually going to help you sell a lot of the parts, because if there's somebody that has a vehicle that they're working on that has the exact same color option, it's gonna be a lot easier to go the route of buying parts from your donor vehicle, knowing that everything's gonna be a perfect color match, as opposed to the more drawn out route of finding whatever part it may be, prepping it, getting it painted, and then even running the chance of possibly not even getting a perfect color match. I've been there. It's pretty not ideal. There's definitely a lot more interest in just getting the part that's the right color right off the bat. The third thing is making a distinction on how you actually want to go about selling your parts, because the good thing is that you're pretty consistently going to make more money than you've invested into the car, assuming you didn't spend an astronomical amount of money, because ironically, the parts individually are worth more than the sum of the parts. Just kind of the way that it is with used cars, but you kind of have to look at it in the scenario of, are you trying to get market value and get as much money as possible for whatever part it is you're selling, or are you more just looking to make your money back and just get everything to go a little bit more smoothly? Me, because I was just in a scenario where I wanted to justify the fact that I bought this car for the interior, I was just looking to get some money back. And honestly, when the vehicle first shows up, it is a little daunting, because you're kind of seeing like, oh, it has damage here, it has damage here, all these places you might have missed. But one thing that definitely helps is just kind of making a list of the parts that you can get off of the vehicle relatively easily, and then just kind of taking a catalog of what you do have and some price points to go with it. Now this next tip kind of piggybacks off the last one, and that's just Facebook Marketplace versus eBay. I find that it helps to sell on both of these because you can get a lot of traction going just like that. Obviously, people go to Facebook Marketplace looking for a deal, so that's where you're going to probably sell a little bit of the cheaper stuff, and then eBay for the parts that you can actually get, a decent dime for. What made it pretty easy for me were the body panels, the large panels, and then just the stuff that's heavy that you don't really want to ship. Those are the parts that I put on Facebook Marketplace. It's a lot easier if somebody just comes to pick them up rather than actually going the route of shipping, versus the smaller parts that you can actually make some money off of. Those I'm totally cool with just putting them in a box, putting them in the corner of the garage, and just putting them on eBay until somebody's interested in them. Because on eBay, if you have a highly optioned part or a higher trim level part, that's gonna be a lot easier to transfer the information to people checking out the listing, versus people on Facebook Marketplace where they might just be looking to replace something and they just see that you have a donor car. And the last thing is that there is gonna be a base value to whatever car you get. It definitely helps if the vehicle's more recent and specifically has a higher trim level, just because that is going to be indicated on the VIN. But you're basically going the cash for junk cars route, because you might get to a point where you're close to breaking even, or you've already broken even and you're just kind of tired of the cars sitting in the driveway, which happens pretty quickly. But the really cool aspect for a lot of these services is that they'll give you a quote online, even if the car is all sorts of messed up, missing parts left and right, because it is a junk car. So if you kept a few parts for yourself, it's really not going to be a big deal, which I still have a bunch of parts just kind of hanging out here in the garage. But the really ideal scenario about it is that they will actually provide the tow truck service. So they'll actually send someone to come pick up the vehicle, wherever it may be, and they'll pay you like then whenever they're actually picking it up. And from then on, it is out of your life. It's a very easy way to kind of close out the whole process. Obviously, the vehicle is going to be worth more just if you keep separating the parts, but it's really just going to come down to how deep you want to go, what you actually want to remove, because that is an aspect of it. Sometimes you have to remove some stuff that somebody wants, and then you never hear from them again. So a little bit of caution is definitely helpful. I also finally counted the change that I found in the car. It is $14.14. Every stack is $1 minus all the pennies there. That's just the random change. And then this stack over here in this corner, the quarters, dimes, and pennies, that's $1 right there as well. So $14.14. I believe the closest guess was $16, but nobody got it right on the nose. So now I know I can add another $14 to the grand total. And for all you guys that were saying like, hey, the MKZ is awesome, we should definitely keep it, I would have if it wasn't so far gone. Like, that was an aspect I didn't really want to dig into because it needed a lot. To kind of put it into perspective, the winning bid on that car, and actually the only bid, was $1,500, which obviously, you know, fees, taxes, and whatnot are going to make it go higher than that. But for a top-of-the-line MKZ from 2016 to only go for $1,500, I think that's a pretty good indicator of where the car was. Plus, I'm really happy with how everything played out because I was able to help people out with a lot of their projects. Like my buddy Nick has one of the coolest MKZs you're ever gonna see, and I was able to help him out a bit. So big shout out to Nick. But that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one.